All right, the
So,
stage is yours.
hello everybody. Thank you for being here, and I will talk today about optimization of molecular orbitals. So, as you know, the full configuration interaction for given by this set, the exact solution of the Schrödinger equation. But for larger molecules, the number of configurations tends toward infinity at the computational cost. And our goal is to use selected CI, in our case CIPC, and speed up the convergence by optimization of molecular orbital. So in 1955, Lodwin introduced the natural orbitals that diagonalize the one-body density matrix. And after that, Edmiston and Woudenberg introduced the first localization method. And after we have Foster Boyce and Pipek Medze, which developed other methods. So the localization of orbital is obtained by minimizing a criterion. The criterion is used to create a rotation matrix in order to apply a linear combination of orbital and minimize the criterion. So we do that iteratively, and in order to obtain the best orbitals with respect to the criterion. But more generally, we can use this whatever criterion we want. So Mulligan and coworkers in 2020 use the idea of minimizing the CI energy as a criterion. So we can express the CI energy in function of the operator X, and we can minimize the energy by change this operator X. So X is a real anti-Hermitian operator, such as R, the rotation matrix is equal to the exponential of minus the operator. And it is very easy to compute the rotation matrix. We just have to do the eigen decomposition of the operator X, and we can produce the eigenvector multiplied by a diagonal matrix and the transpose of the eigenvector. And we can compute the rotation matrix by the eigenvector multiplied by the cosinus of the diagonal matrix multiplied by the the transpose of the eigenvector plus the eigenvector multiplied by the invert of the diagonal matrix multiplied by the sinus of the diagonal matrix multiplied by the eigenvector transpose and multiplied by x. So it's pretty easy to program, and we can check if the rotation matrix has good properties because a rotation matrix, the product of rotation matrix by its transpose give the identity. So it's why it's because the rotation matrix produces orthogonal transformations. So in your case, we have the following problem. We have to optimize the CI coefficient and the orbital parameters, but the number of CI coefficient is very large compared to the orbital coefficient. The number of orbital coefficients that we will optimize is for n electron is around n factor to n minus 1 divided by 2. It corresponds to the number of elements in the lower diagonal of n by n matrix. So to solve this problem, Mulligan and coworker suggest doing the optimization of these parameters alternately. So since the cost of the CI is much bigger than the optimization of the orbitals, we need a robust method to ensure that the orbital optimize this method must ensure the orbital optimization steps will lower the energy in the right way. Basically, it's not the same problem that we encounter with the orbital localization, because for orbital localization, we just have to minimize the criterion, and it's very easy. It don't take too much time. But in our case, if we are at 10 million determinants, and we compute the new orbitals with the rotation matrix, if the energy after 20 million determinants is not good as the energy as 10 million determinants, we lose a lot of time. So we have to ensure that we use a good method, a robust method. So this part may be very easy, but it's a good reminder. So it's about the Newton method. So we have to minimize the function, in your case, energy, the energy. So we do a Taylor development of the function around the dummy variable x in one dimension. So I think it's very easy. You have just the function plus the nabla, the function dx, plus 1/2 nabla carré, the function dx square. So if we note xk, the current step, and xk plus 1, the next step, we obtain the Newton method with the function at the next step is equal to the function at the current step plus the gradient of the position factor, the next position minus the current position, plus 1/2 the Hessian factors current position minus the next position minus the current position at square. So it leads to the next position is equal to the current position minus the Hessian factor puissance power minus 1 and multiplied by the gradient. In n dimensions, it's the same thing. We just have to do a Taylor expansion of f around a dummy position xk, and we obtain the same thing. We just have one difference. We use the transpose of the gradient and the transpose of our vector p. So we can use this thing to compute the next position. The next position are equal to the current position plus minus the invert of the Hessian matrix multiplied by the gradient. So the problem is the Newton method using the Hessian give a bad approximation at long range, but gives a good approximation at the short range. And at contrary, the gradient method gives a bad approximation at short range and a good approximation at long range. So we have to find a solution. Umbrian and coworker starts their optimization from natural orbital, and using several algorithms, they use the Newton method, as we see. The diagonal Newton method, they just use the diagonal of the Hessian. An AMS grad, which is a method, we just use the gradient, and the accelerated Newton method. For the accelerated Newton method, it's pretty simple. It's just a Newton method. They use only the diagonal of the Hamiltonian of the Hessian, but they apply a factor ft, which is determined by the cosine of the angle between the previous step and the current step. So it's defined like that, and it allows to put a factor on the different element of the Hessian. So if the energy of a step is larger than the previous step, they will apply a little factor to reduce the different elements of the Hessian in order to reduce the step of each iteration. So they define the cosinus as an inner product of the different vector. So the result of American coworker are here. For the Newton method and the Newton method, we have pretty similar results. So the use of the diagonal Hessian is a good idea because it's more easy to compute. But we have a linear convergence. We also have a linear convergence with AMS grad method, but it's a better convergence. And we have better results with the accelerated diagonal Newton, which is a non-linear convergence, which is better for us. We have another method for to obtain the minimal energy. Itamar Oivik used this idea in this thesis. It's the thrust region algorithm. Basically, it's a Newton method with a constraint on the step range, which is set by the Lagrangian multiplier. We can find this method explained in the thrust region method by Nocedal on the right. And I made the following slide with this book. And you can find it very easily on the SciHub. So we came back at the equation. So we model the function around a point by this Taylor development. So it's a function of the at point k plus the gradient, the transpose of the gradient multiplied by a vector plus 1/2 the transpose of a vector multiplied by the Hessian and multiplied by the vector. And in our case, we want that the vector P, which corresponds to the lower diagonal of our rotation matrix, is the norm of this vector have to be lower than delta k, whereas delta k represents the thrust region radius. It's an hypersphere of dimension n. So for that, we define the agreement of between the model and the real function. The function f gives the exact energy, and the function m gives the energy given by the model. So we compute the energy of the current step of the previous step minus the exact energy of the current step divided by the energy of the model at the previous step and the energy computed by the model at the current step. So if the model, the agreement is good, we have a rho which will be equal to 1, and if the agreement is very bad, we have an agreement which tends toward 0. So if the agreement is very bad, we reject the step, and we will compute a new step we decrease the wrong step and we compute a new step. But if the agreement is very good, we increase the step and compute the next step. If the norm of P is inferior or equal to the delta, the solution of P is an inconstant solution, but if it's superior or equal to delta K, we have to build the Lagrangian to put the constraint. So we build the Lagrangian as follow. And if we differentiate the Lagrangian with respect to the vector P, we obtain this equation. So it's the Hessian plus the Lagrange multiplier factor multiplying by the identity matrix, which will be multiplied by P, and which is equal to minus the gradient. So we use the Lagrangian in order to search the minimum value of our model on the boundary of the truth region. So I will skip this part because it's not easy. And so we have this equation, and to solve this equation, we will do the eigendecomposition of the Hessian as follow. And with this the eigendecomposition, we can build the eigendecomposition of the Hessian plus the Lagrange multiplier factor multiplying by the identity, because it's the identity matrix. And we obtain that with lambda 1, 2, 3, 4, and n as the different eigenvalue of the Hessian matrix. And we can express the vector P as a function of one variable, which is a constraint lambda. And the properties of this function of P are that the limit of when the lambda, the Lagrange multiplier, tends towards infinity, P is equal to 0, but if the Lagrange multiplier tends towards an eigenvalue, the norm of P is equal to the infinity. So between lambda G, an eigenvalue of the matrix, and lambda equal to the infinity, we have a solution where the vector P is equal, the norm of the vector P is equal to the delta, the radius of the truth region. So we can illustrate that by this graphic. So you see when lambda tends towards lambda minus lambda 1 is tends toward infinity, and when the lambda tends toward infinity, we have is equal to 0, and we have a point here where the vector P is equal to the normal vector. The vector P is equal to delta. So if the Hessian is a positive definite, and we have the invert of Hessian multiplied by the gradient inferior to delta, it's the inconstrained solution. If the Hessian is positive infinite, but the invert of the Hessian multiplied by the gradient is superior to delta, we have to search the Lagrange multiplier between 0 and the infinity, which is solution of P lambda is equal to delta. And a more efficient way is to build the augmented Hessian. It's a m by n plus 1 factor of m plus 1 matrix, which is built like that with 0, the gradient, and the Hessian matrix. And we have to solve the system with the augmented Hessian multiplied by the vector P, which is equal to mu, the Lagrange multiplier factor of the vector P. So we have to compute the Hessian matrix, and since we can express the energy as the sum of the one body matrix, one body density matrix element multiplied by the one electron integrals plus the two body element density matrix multiplied by the two electron integrals, and the operator X is a function of the Croton alienation operator. We can express the energy as a function of X, and by derivate, we can obtain the Gradon isolation as a function of the 1 and 2 electron integrals on the 1 and 2 body density matrix. So the main idea of this project is to build the Gradon isolation matrix, first of all. After that, we will try to build the Newton method on the method of Umbriger and coworker on the H2. After that, we will build the transfusion method. Maybe we'll use a local orbital as starting point because it could be a good thing. After that, we'll do Davidson degradation and try on a bigger system before merge on the quantum package library. So thank you for your attention.